Alrighty, another day, another story. There'll be a pinned comment down below with all YouTube gumph and extra YouTube gumph in case YouTube gumph happens again. You know how it is. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Fudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Ithilia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. Anyways, on to the story. All about the Lynaeids, Part 13, Chasing Waterfalls. Lynaeids and Goertals are the only species in the aggregate that are considered aquatic-based. The Lynaeids still hold strong to their older traditions when on their homeworld. They are aquatic nomads and practice a sea-based hunter-gathering lifestyle, which easily provides them with all the nutrition that they need. This leaves a lot of leisure time, which they spend singing, creating art, and swimming. They are the only warm-blooded species in the aggregate that is born knowing how to swim. There are pictures of human babies swimming in water, but these are obviously works of fiction. We will be dispelling more myths about this newest species to join the aggregate in our upcoming book, The Care and Feeding of Humans. Noviak Review of Ontological Species Studies, all about the Lynaeids, Chasing Waterfalls, published by Glass and Steel, all about the Lynaeids, Translation Engine 3.1415. Neref looked at the waterfall. At least we know why the crackball was headed this way, she said. Nate looked up, surprised, and pulled himself away from the wall. I guess that makes sense. He seemed like he was far away from the water, but really his home ground was here. So, what's the next stop on the map? We don't want to be here when he comes home, Neref said, and edged a little closer to the ravine wall. Nate spread the map out over the body of one of the droids, so everyone could see it. We're here where it says, have a good trip, Nate said. But this map has these quotes scattered all over the place, and lines that look like Steve let a toddler scribble on his map. We've been following this line, but if you keep following it, it curves back and joins the starting line again. In fact, they all do. If we stay on this line to the next stop, it says, by the sea, by the sea. I'm not sure what this pun is for, but we didn't get the island's name until we saw it. Nate showed them the next stop of the map. Quirrell measured the distance with his hands. That's about 4 or 5 days' journey, he said. Through what looks to be a pretty tough terrain, Zoe agreed. We'll be closer to the shuttle, though, Captain Rackham pointed out. We've been walking into the center, but this leads us back to the shoreline. Do you think we'll be able to get back before the ship comes to pick up the shuttle? Teref asked Captain Rackham. He chewed on his bottom lip, thoughtfully. It'll be a close call, for sure, though it's not like they're only going to wait for a few minutes. It is my ship, after all. Neref looked at the waterfall thoughtfully. The water was pouring down over one edge of the ravine and flowing further down the ravine in a small river. Evidently attracted by the source of water, there was a large amount of vegetation in the area. Giant segmented reeds grew in a thick clump near the pool that formed at the base of the waterfall. Instead of days walking through the rough terrain, Neref said, what would you think about creating a raft to float down the river? That's freaking genius, Nate said, and he patted her on her back as he trotted over to the reeds. Or, Alan pointed out, it could be a really horrific idea where we are trapped on a small raft in the middle of a river with a giant lizard chasing us in the water. Neref's eyes glinted hard in the light. That's exactly where we want to be, trust me. Quirrell had the most experience building rafts, and Neref and Teref had the most experience arguing with him about his ideas. Captain Rackham donated some of his climbing rope to lash the large reeds together, and Quirrell insisted on using 2 of the largest reeds as pontoons on the bottom of the raft. So, Quirrell really loves these rafts, Zoe said to Neref as Quirrell was loudly explaining to Nate why the knots needed to be tied in a certain way. On our world, we build a lot of rafts as children, Neref said. We build a lot of forts as kids, Zoe said. Pillow forts, blanket forts, snow forts. Oh, no, Neref said earnestly. Our lives depend on them. We can swim from birth, but we don't have the speed necessary to avoid predators. We use rafts to get around from island to island until we're big enough to deal with the predators. We also use them for fishing, so that we can collect enough food without attracting predators or scavengers. We use them for housing and for storage. Nerif was working on several long, thin reeds while she was talking to Zoe. She was splitting one end down to the first segment in the reed. Bubsy was helping by grabbing the waving ends. "What are you doing with that bamboo?" Zoe asked. "Bamboo? Is that what you call it?" Nerif asked. "In our world, we use reeds like this for all sorts of things, including fishing spears. I figure we should have some on hand in case the Crackmore comes back." Zoe sat down next to Nerif and grabbed one of the reeds and started splitting them with her and giving her a second target of attack for Bubsy. Nate evidently wanted to make a pirate flag for the raft, but was thwarted by the lack of materials. Captain Rackham was on guard, but was also, no surprise, in favor of a pirate flag and offering suggestions over his shoulder. Nerif spoke quietly to Zoe. "Have you ever wondered why there are only 3 of us nesters?" Zoe shook her head. "I didn't know 3 was a small number. I haven't worked with a lot of Limniads before." "Normally," Nerif said, "there are 6 or 8 of us in a nest. There were 7 of us in my nest. The Crackmore ate 4 of our nest." She paused a moment, cutting the bamboo viciously. "I hate them. I almost hope it attacks us." Zoe put down her bamboo and looked at Nerif with full attention. "You aren't facing this one alone. We're here, and this foe Crackmore won't take any of us." Nerif set down her own bamboo and leaned over and hugged Zoe. "We have each other's backs. I know it. I feel it through my whole being." "The raft is ready when you are," Nate called. Alan and Nate had helped Terif and Quirf push the raft down to the water. "Quirf loves building rafts," Nerif said to Zoe. "He was too young to remember that night, but I think he remembers something. He's always building bigger and bigger rafts." "This one is pretty big," Zoe agreed. The droids were already on the raft when Zoe and Nerif gathered up the bamboo and moved to the raft. Bubsy followed without any encouragement. She hesitated at the water's edge for a moment and then jumped over the water and onto the raft. Once everyone was on board, Quirf shoved the raft out from the flow of the river. "Come on, everybody, here we go," he shouted as they started down the river. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.